Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about 8 AM on Friday. The other day, if any of you follow the Facebook page or anything like that, you will see I fitted new rear shocks to Phyllis. Dead easy, just 4 bolts. The only thing I had to do was I took the small metal bushings out of the original shocks and put them in the new shocks, because the bushings that come with the new shocks, which were for a Honda CG125, are ever so slightly wider, so I just put the others back in. Fitment was pretty straightforward, and I've only had a little bounce in the shed, but it feels alright. The next plan for Phyllis is to probably drop the front forks out, change the front fork oil for slightly heavier, because Phyllis's suspension is fairly harsh. It's like way too soft. So I thought I'll replace the rear shocks off a slightly bigger bike. The CG125 shocks are a very common replacement for Honda Super Cubs and stuff like that. They're just a bit better because they're made for a slightly heavier bike. They're a bit more compliant when you get a fat twat like me on it. So yeah, I'm going to put heavier weight fork oil in the front as well, and then that'll help. Anyway, ignition problems with spurtilage. I went to move him the other day, and absolutely no ignition lights. Fuses were okay. There's a tiny little fuse box under here, and basically it's headlight, tail light, and something else. Let's see if I can get the seat off one-handed. I can do a lot of things one-handed. This seat always comes off easy enough, but it's a bar steward to put back. But yeah, there's your fuse box, and that's your ignition module as well. But basically we've got spare 30 for the starter solenoid, more on that later, a spare 10 because all the other fuses are 10, and as you see there's one for the fan, and then you've got tail and headlight, if the cover's there, so tail and headlight just there, and that's pretty much it for the fuses, apart from a 30, what are they, 10 amp, they're amps, aren't they? Yeah, apart from a 30 amp on the starter solenoid. Now fully enough, I had no ignition lights, and as you know, I've been having the odd electrical brain fart, and then I literally, there we go, perfect, I fitted a voltmeter the other day, and after fitting the voltmeter, the ignition was all over the place. I was getting like really weak lights. This is really cool because I can, it's wired directly to the battery. I had to make an extension wire, but it is wired directly into the battery, and I like this one because it's got its own power. So if I just do that, it will show you our standing voltage and state of charge, which is 81%. Now I've suspected that the battery's been duff a while, because as I've explained before, that is the battery that came with the bike, and the bike was standing a good 2 years that we know of, and I did put a new one in it, and then obviously the rectifier went to breasts vertical and fried the new battery, so I put the old one back in and it stayed there, you know, out of sight, out of mind. Let's just put that back before I forget, which I will. So yeah, I fit the voltmeter, and as you can see it's all working, but when I went to turn the ignition on, it went like that, and when I went to press the starter, it literally turned over for about a second, and then everything went really dull, which suggests there's resistance there, or the battery is duff. I long suspect the battery to be duff. And then I tried it again, and I lost all ignition lights. Hadn't blown a fuse, but the main ignition fuse is the 30 amp on the side of the starter solenoid there. Now all I did was that, just pushed it back again, and I got perfectly clear ignition lights again. So what I've done, I'm just giving it a wiggle now, see if it will do anything, which it won't, because of course it won't, because it's on camera. Bastard. It's like when you take a car to the garage, you know, it never recreates the problem. So possibly today, I've got a new battery coming from Wamoto, and I decided to get a new starter relay as well. That one is functioning and it will do as a spare, but in order to fit it easily, I need to take that side panel off, which is no problem. It's a little screw underneath at the back. Take the grab rail off, there's a screw there. You take your grab hooks off, and then there's a screw there, and there's a screw at the side. Dead easy. The bodywork doesn't fight you. It's not under any stress like some bodywork is. So I'm going to take that off, because if the stuff comes today, I can probably fit it today or at least tomorrow. So I'm going to crack on and start to remove the bodywork, and I'll bring you back when I've done it. Yes, I will. Right, so the panelage of side is off, and what I'm going to do now is I want to get to that easy. That's a starter solenoid. So basically, when you turn the ignition on, 12 volts goes up to the ignition, 12 volts goes straight to the solenoid. This is in very, very simple terms. And when you press starty button, provided all the safety switches are in order, that will then, you will have a signal wire that comes from the starter into here. And then what that'll do, it will command the relay to open and shoot your 12 volts straight down to your starter motor. It takes quite a load when it does it, just like your mum. So any problems with this, any slight corrosion in here, anything like that, it's going to create massive resistance, you know, in relative terms, and you're going to have starting trouble. Now, as you can see, this part of the original loom, there is a tag that's supposed to clip these together, so they're a really good contact. So what I'm going to do when I put it together with the new one is wrap a cable tie around it, and then we can ensure a good contact. So I'm just going to snip a couple of these, so I've got some flexibility in the loom, and then I can get to that nice and easy. Now we're swapping the battery out anyway, so I'm going to disconnect the battery before I touch that, and then I know there's no voltage in there, there's no capacitor or anything like that, so we're good. Yes, safety third, boys and girls. So here's a little fitting tip. When you get your new one, this is the old one I've just took off, which is highly likely a replacement anyway, is those bottom terminals look a little bit dry, a little bit crustage, just sort of a surface corrosion from standing. But if you look either side of the main fuse on the green part, you will see a B and an M. A B for bollocks and an M for masturbating marsupials. No, it's not. The B basically is the battery post. It's to help you wire it in. So on this one, we'll put it in that orientation. Bear in mind it's not level in this rubber holder which goes on those two tangs. But your positive cable from your battery will go straight to B. And there's the little cable down there. Hello, little cable. And then your starter motor cable will come up and bolt to M. Do not over tighten the nuts. Snug them up. There is usually a spring washer or something under the nut anyway, or it will have serrations in the nut to help it grip. Look at my nuts. And I've lost a nut, but fortunately I found where it is. Are you ready to play the generation game? Do 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 do. Yep, landed on the chain. There we go. Your new start solenoids generally come with new nuts and stuff anyway, but this gives me a chance just to have a quick look at this part of the wiring loom as well. But that will do as a spare. And what we'll do, we've got a spare 30. The new one will come with the fuse already installed. But yeah, these top connectors, they're a little bit dry, a little bit crusty fusty. And what I'm going to do on the other end of this as well is, see, that's your signal terminal coming in, the top one, and that obviously shoots voltage across. Is I am going to put some electrical contact cleaner down there and just make sure that's all good. I'm going to get a fake terminal, you know what I mean, like one of those, but a spade. I'm not happy with that connector actually. That looks like it's wearing out. I might just renew that as well. That's a common earth basically for a lot of accessories and stuff, and I shall take all these out and clean them up. And I'll just you know, ram them in and out with a bit of cleaner on. Just if there is any surface corrosion, we'll get rid of it. Also, I've got no idea what this is. I think it's a turn signal relay, but it looks like somebody's wired it in themselves and they've done a terrible job. So that's perfect. Indicators work, not really bothered. But it could have done with being like weatherproofed better. So what I might do, I might not do it now, I might do it at a later date. Jim, do it now while you're there, you lazy bastard. I'll put some weatherproof connectors on, but because you know, I don't like all this tape everywhere. It looks shit, which is why I like it mainly. But you know, so yeah, so I've just got to wait for the parts to come in now. That is a that is an unused wire. It's been twisted together and then heat shrinked, but it's not been heat shrinked properly because it's got an open end, which means the weather can get in. Whoever hacked the loom on this was trying to make Street Fighter. Unfortunately, ZZR6s with ram air do not work if the ram air is not in perfect condition. They will not, you can't run it on pods or anything like that, it hates it. So it's sort of yeah, I mean there's a hack job at the front of the loom as well. Ideally, I think new looms and stuff are still available from Kawasaki. Ideally, in an ideal world, if I was to restore the bike or anything like that, I would just get a brand new loom or get a really, really good used one and then just go through it, take all the insulation off it and go through it, have a look at all the connectors. But yeah, we'll get there. You won't. on the bike, we've had a delivery. Yes, waiting for me when I got home. Nice. Yes. Right, it should be a battery on a new starter solenoid. So I'll sort that bollocks out and then bring you back. All buttoned up. Nice new starter solenoid in, new battery in. It's showing 12.9, I think. 12.8. I've had it on about 10-15 minutes. So what we'll do now, do that. It's showing 80%. I'm now going to attempt to start the machine. So I'm just going to open the door and let the old exhaust out. See what the bagger does. Right, that's gone straight up to 100% condition. 14.3, that's exactly what we're looking for. Nothing lower, really. Nice. Hopefully that's cured it, but we won't find out until we start using it. 14.3, 14.4. We don't really want to see any more than that, certainly no more than 15. We've got it idle. 13.8, lights on. 13, 2. Yeah. Lovely. Very nice. Good stuff. I think that'll do for Spurt. If it's dry at the weekend, I may get out and try him. Nice. Did you spot the deliberate mistake? What's that? Yes, well done. If you said, Jim, the positive battery cable is the wrong orientation. Of course I knew this, and this was a test designed to catch you out, which I shall rectify immediately. Now, I've even put the positive for the voltometer, fed it through there, so it's covered up by the old insulation as well. Can't be too careful. Oh, windy pop. So today's beverage, your Dr. Pepper Cherry. Bought it from the garden centre. Yes, yes. Right, I can button it all up now. Nice. Right, ZZR's all buttoned back up again. I ran it up a few times, and while it's been running, seemed to start a lot better. I'll give it that. But with a brand new battery, I expect you're getting a healthy spark, etc. I do suspect the old battery being duff, purely because of its unknown age. Really, there wasn't a date stamp on the battery. There usually is on batteries, and there's usually a little date stamp. You know, sometimes you have a little sticky label. What's this one? 23. Yeah, that'd be about right. Yes. So yeah, that's all back together, but I won't know for sure. My demons will not be exercised until the bike's had a bit of exercise, and I'm still on new tyres. The front one I've had on a little while, but it's not done much mileage on that at all. But I fit the new rear, and I don't think there's 100 mile on it yet, so I'm still sort of bedding it in. So yes, but it's an excuse to get it out for a ride. It's just started raining here. The sky is as black as a black man's bumhole. I won't tell you what my gran used to say, but it's something to do with an armpit. Anyway, so yeah, I might get out on it at the weekend. I don't think I'm going to get out on it tomorrow. It's going to have thunder and lightning and very, very frightening. So other than that, at the moment, touch wood,
penis. All three good. I mean, Olive, since we did the flywheel properly in September, it's been good as gold. If it leave it a few days or a week, it don't like starting. You have to turn the fuel on and then I'll let it stand for about 10 minutes, and that seems to help. If you just turn the fuel on and then try and start, you'll be there going for ages. Just leave it alone, turn the fuel on, walk away, come back in about 10 minutes, give it a go, and it fires straight up. So I mean, that's got super in it, I do believe. So yeah, it's just how it is. I'm sort of still getting used to their quirks. The Aprilia is really quirky, but brilliant commuter. Yeah, so we're really happy with the Aprilia. I love riding Spurt. I love ZZRs. To me, it was always the best option out of the, FZR, YZR, CBR. The only thing that ran it close for comfort and ease of use was the old GSX, not GSXR, GSX. They did a 600 and a 750. They used to call them teapots. They were really good bikes because they were essentially a first gen GSXR with different bodywork. They were really good bikes. Anyway, Temu. You know how I've bought loads of tools off Temu and they've all been pretty damn good, I must admit. Pretty good. For what I do. No problem at all. I've had my first fail. I bought, I'm sure I showed you them ages ago, no. These are fork brackets basically for mounting spotlights or whatever, and I thought, oh, make a camera mount perhaps. Anyway, I went to bolt it to Felice the other day so I could put the 360 boom on it, and I was only running these screws in with the drill driver on its lowest torque setting, so literally just nipping it up, and Temu fail. There you go. So that's my first fail. So yes, don't buy fork mounts from Temu. This is a public service announcement. Turn the camera off, Jim, before you get any worse.